With Tua Tagovailoa as the Dolphins starter when they come out of the bye. Dolphins coach said he feels that starting Tagovailoa is what is best for the team. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been the starter through 6. Yeah, they're 3-3, but they're in the mix. And he spoke candidly about the move.
I was shocked by it. It definitely caught me off guard. And, it was a hard thing for me to hear yesterday, just kind of digesting the news. My heart just hurt all day. Like it was heartbreaking for me. We've talked in the past about, how I'm the placeholder and this eventually was going to happen. It was just a matter of kind of when, not if. And, is this it? Like, was that, my last game as an NFL player in terms of, being the starter and going out there and playing? I definitely like playing more than I like sitting and watching. I've been benched all kinds of different ways, but this one just really more so than any of them. I think this organization and what we've been through the last year and a half, this was kind of the first place other than Buffalo where I just felt fully, committed and invested and felt like it was my team. And so to have that, I think that's a lot of the reason why my heart was so heavy yesterday, but, that's the direction that the organization's going, and, I've just got to accept it.
It's rare for an NFL quarterback to find himself at the top of a list that includes Patrick Mahomes, but Fitzpatrick's got him beat for the best total QBR for any quarterback since Week 3. He led Miami to a 3-1 record over that span. All 3 wins came by at least 18 points, but now in Miami it is Tua time, and it's an opportunity that Tagovailoa looks forward to.
I was very excited. That's news that I think anyone would love to hear. Being named the starter, it kind of hurts me in a way to see Fitz hurt. I'm just very, very, lucky to have someone like Fitz in my corner, regardless of the situation we're in right now. He's just, I hate to say it like this, but it is like this. It's like a father and son.
One big thing.
Last week, Cameron Wolfe, who covers the Dolphins for ESPN, wrote about why Ryan Fitzpatrick is beloved by his Dolphin team. His teammates and coaches provided the details. Mike Gesicki called him the greatest teammate I have ever had. His head coach, Brian Flores, saying, quote, "He's a great teammate, and that goes far beyond what you guys see on the field. Nothing that happened Wednesday off the field means Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't what they say he is. Nothing." For everybody who assumed Fitzpatrick would take losing his job after winning 3 of 4 games with the Dolphins just a game out of first in the East and smile and say, "That's fantastic, I can't wait to be the backup," that's not how it went. Instead, the 37-year-old in his 16th NFL season with his 8th team was honest and human.
It's still just, it broke my heart yesterday. It's a tough thing for me to hear and to now have to deal with, but I'm going to do my best with it. I basically got fired yesterday, and then my day of work today consisted of me in Zoom meetings listening to the guy that fired me, and then locked in a spaced out room with my replacement for 4 hours today.
And those answers, I think you see why he is beloved. The passion and the belief that he could play and play well enough for it to be his team were backed up by the results that leave him hurting and wondering why now. And if you can't relate to that, it's because you don't currently have a job that there are a total of 32 of. And he was doing a better job than many of the other 31. Fitzpatrick's seen everything that the game can throw at you. He's a journeyman quarterback. And his duty at this stage of the journey was to keep the seat warm until the rookie was ready. And he knew that all along. But Fitzpatrick had played well enough lately that it creates an unthinkable situation. A year ago, you remember the rallying cry in South Florida? Tank for Tua. Then he got injured, and the Dolphins were able to get him at 5. Now, maybe he comes out and is great from the jump, and this is a long-forgotten moment in a few weeks. But Fitzpatrick's performance, leadership, and respect from his teammates are all notable. This Dolphins team is miles beyond the 0-6 team from a season ago, so Tua doesn't step into a situation where the immediate results won't really matter. They believe he's ready now. Fitzpatrick wasn't ready to get out of the way just yet, and he certainly earned the right to say as much. Hot to get to, busy day in sports. Tua will be the starter in Miami out of the bye. Great lineup of guests will join the show. The undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Teofimo Lopez, fresh off that big win over the weekend. And Arkansas head coach Sam Pittman. Are they one of the biggest surprises in the SEC? Yes, sir! But we begin with the best thing I saw today. Another football coach. It's Mike Tomlin. You know I love when he speaks. Why? No nonsense, as always.
Mike, I know you said that you're confident in the guys you have at inside linebacker this week to plan and replace Devin, but going forward long term, are you interested in looking and exploring other options to bring guys onto your team?
Brooke, I can't see past lunch, to be honest with you.
I'm just trying to get a sandwich and some chips, you know? That's what I'm trying to do. Anything he said, I would do it.
Anything.
I mean, within reason.
Yeah.
Right? That man right there, no nonsense. Appreciate it. All right, to the big news of the day, Miami Dolphins, the last two games, Ryan Fitzpatrick's got 6 touchdown passes, 2 picks. They've won both. They've won 3 of 4. They're a game out of first in the AFC East. They're making a change at quarterback coming out of this week's spot. Tua Tagovailoa will be making his debut as a starter. I don't get it. Fitzpatrick was always a bridge guy, sure. Obviously, they are seeing things in Miami in practice that we will not ever see. But Fitzpatrick is adored by his teammates. He's playing well enough to give him a chance every week. Just feels like there is no feel, like there was a plan all along that this would be the week. Come out of the bye and just, it's his show. As for Tua
Tagovailoa,
Ricky Rose, Miami hoping to get the Alabama version. The touchdown-interception ratio in SBS history was the best, 7.91. It was the highest touchdown percentage all time. His first start will come 351 days after dislocating and fracturing his hip in November 16th against Mississippi State. At the time, Tua owned the best total QBR in the country, ultimately finished second behind Joe Burrow. Despite an inability to work out at the Combine, he did host a virtual pro day in April before being drafted 5th overall, becoming the first left-handed quarterback drafted in the first round since Tim Tebow in 2010. This past Sunday, late in a shutout win over the Jets, Tua made his NFL debut, completed a couple of passes, including a 7-yard completion that moved the sticks. So Tua's debut as a starter will come against the Rams Week 8. Not the friendliest opponent when you consider that Los Angeles' defense is allowing less than 5.5 yards per drop back this season, the fewest by any defense this season. They're also allowing the second fewest yards per completion on the season, behind only the Carolina Panthers. We talked to Jeff Darlington so much about a season that we didn't know if it would happen. It's nice to talk, Jeff, about some actual football here. And as I just explained here, it feels like a move Miami makes where you're not reading the room, and before the season starts, you say, well, out of the bye, we'll just give it to Tua. But I know what I don't know, which is what he's doing every day in practice, and maybe he's lighting them up. And they just say, hey, now's the time. What's your sense of why, after a couple of wins in a row, they're going to go ahead and give Tua the keys to the car?
So, Scott, I understand where you're coming from, especially considering the fact that the AFC East feels wide open right now. It doesn't feel like this is a season that's simply being thought of as a developmental year for Tua. What I will say is, though, that Brian Flores has had a level of conviction, and not like the cliche head coach conviction, but more like, I don't care what you think conviction about when he's going to play Tua. And that's mostly been centered around questions after losses, where basically it's like, hey, it's time for Tua. The thing that I think is difficult to understand about Flores is that also pertains to after wins. Like, he is simply looking at Tua's development as the indicator for when he is going to play him. Not whether the team wins or loses, not whether Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert are playing well, not whether the fans are clamoring for Tua, but rather the development of Tua. And Flores at this point, whether we agree with it or not, because I'm sort of with you in the sense that I'm not there every day, I'm not certainly seeing him in practice, but Flores believes, regardless of everything else that's happening, the scores of these games, that Tua's time is now.
And he obviously knows that if there's a vet, you could say you're going to put the baseball hat on now and not have that vet tap out, it's Fitzpatrick. What's the sense of where this leaves a guy, Jeff, that, as you explained to me, is absolutely adored within that team room?
Right. And I do wonder how much that plays into it. Like, he knows, Flores, that he can put Tua in there and not face any issues in the locker room because Fitzpatrick is such a professional. I'm not saying that that's exactly the reason, but it is true. Fitzpatrick is beloved within this organization to the point where I know there's been some chatter about, hey, will they unload? Will Jerry Jones go and trade for Fitzpatrick
Right.
or whatever? The Dolphins, to me, don't seem like a team that's interested in unloading him. Honestly, I think that they perceive his value within this organization, even not on the field, as far superior to any draft pick that they might get. That being said, Jerry Jones is a maniac and might do something crazy and make them just go ahead and send him to Dallas and take that first-round pick.
Right, if I was Miami, I'd just anonymously send a cut-up of that San Francisco game to Jerry World and just with a shrug emoji.
Right, man.
Because, I mean, look, Fitzpatrick gives he certainly would appear to give you